where the money is.
Okay.
How's technology going to help me increase sales? I mean, most businesses want more customers.
Exactly. Well, sales and marketing and how it relates to technology. My dad always says that you need the right tool for the job. And essentially, technology is a tool that a sales and marketing person can use to make them more productive, help them keep track of their customers better, what products they're selling. The key to having a good technical tool for your sales and marketing department is making sure that you have the right tool. Whether you're, depending on the size of your business, do you need to use only Outlook for your contact manager, or do you need to use ACT? Or do you need help making sure that your email marketing campaigns are up to date? There are a few main components, though. You need a really good website. I was in a sales and marketing webinar a couple weeks ago, and the presenter basically was talking about the differences in the B2B market, business-to-business sales market, whereas before the onset of the Internet, an average consumer would do about 20% of research before they went to a sales rep or a business to find out the rest of the 80% they need to know before they make a decision to buy a product. Nowadays, the average consumer does 80% of the research prior to ever contacting.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Yeah, prior to ever contacting a customer. So that's why you need to have a great website, very informative, attractive, making sure that your website keeps clients' interest, and make sure that you have a great email program for email marketing. Email marketing is a huge push these days because it's free. You don't have to worry about paying for printing. You don't have to worry about paying for postage. You can have targeted marketing campaigns for specific segments of your client base.
I found that to be very successful,
yeah, it really is.
but that's becoming more difficult right now. It seems like people are putting up more blocks and more walls and more hoops that you got to go through.
Right. And also, there's a lot of spammers out there. So you have to be very conscious of not being flagged as a spammer. And there are a couple of things that you can do as an email marketing person to make sure that you do come across as legitimate. You need to make sure that at the bottom of your email you have an unsubscribe option.
Because that's required, right?
It is, it is. And they can report you to the
people
FTC.
don't know that, right?
No, they don't. And there are programs out there that will do that for you.
And if you send out too many, you get blocked, right?
Exactly. And then you have to go through the process of calling all these domain service providers, letting them know that you are legitimate and to unblock your domain. So a lot of things you need to keep in mind.
And I liked what you were saying about sending to different groups.
Right.
Because you may be interested in one part of it, and TJ's interested in another. But if I keep sending the same thing to both of you, and it's only of interest to you, TJ's going to quit reading my mail, right?
Or put you on a spam list, right?
Well, and beyond that, you need to make sure that you, from a website perspective, if you are sending out some emails, you need to be able to way of tracking them to see if people are reading them, to see where they're clicking, to see where they're going on your website. And there's a lot of programs out there, free programs. Google Analytics is one of those that you can actually see where they're going on your site, how long they're staying on your site, where are they going from there. Are they just coming to your main page and then leaving? If so, maybe you need to redesign your web page. So taking that information and analyzing it and then rolling it out into some type of plan for your website is great to know. Another way of generating business is using Google AdWords or Microsoft Ads, where they're on the search engine, you search for something, say wood, and it pops up on the side that you're a lumber company, and so your ad will pop up here on the side, and they click on that, and it takes you directly to their website. And it's a pay-per-click cost, so it's a reduced cost on your advertising.
Well, I didn't want to go too deep into that because I do a lot of preaching on the show about using the web and using the internet. I believe businesses, and I won't apologize, that aren't using it are making a big mistake.
Yes.
Agreed.
But it is part of the package of having a managed IT services that you make sure that they use those and go through it. TJ, let me ask you a little bit more about protection.
Okay.
One of the big issues that we're coming into now is the hurricane season. Hurricanes can, statistics, I've heard it all over from like 43%, 40%, I've heard you quote, that if a business is shut down and can't get to their information, they go out of business. What do you do to protect yourself IT-wise from the hurricanes?
Well, just like security, there's multiple layers. There's if your company doesn't have a server and it's just you that's working out of your home, you need to back up your files. Well, you can use a jump drive, you can use an external hard drive or something like that, but if that data is sitting right beside that same computer, if a fire or a flood or something were to happen to that location and those two things were physically damaged, what would you do with your data then? You would not be able to get it. There's online services where you can back up your data online automatically. The software does it all for you. It starts as low as $10 a month, even for, and you back up all of your data from to an online service.
So that means that if my place burned down and everything went away, and I went somewhere else where there was the internet, I still have all my data.
Just
Exactly.
log into a website and you'll be able to see all your data from there, and then you can start downloading any information that you need. If you get your new PC, then you can start downloading the stuff to your documents and begin work. Because like you said, 40% of businesses go out, if they can't get to their data within the first 24 hours. 40% of small businesses go out of business. Another 35% are out of business within the next 3 years if they can't get to their data within a certain amount of time frame. So going beyond that, if you've got multiple computers, you want to make sure that they're all backed up. Online backup is always the easiest, but another way of doing that is to create a server. Use tape backups to get that data off of there. Take images, and images, what an image is basically you take a snapshot of a computer software and the operating system at a certain time and date. Then you take that off site. So if something were to happen, a hard drive crash, you replace the hard drive, you put that image back on there, 30 minutes, 45 minutes later, that computer is exactly the way it looked before before it was to have the problem. Above and beyond that, if you have data centers and lots of servers, you can actually provide high availability by replicating all the data from the server in Daytona Beach to a server in Miami or a server in Texas, wherever that may be. So in the event that something were to happen to your data center, you fail over all technical operations to that hot site and begin working from there.
Very important, very important. I mean, it might happen. I certainly hope it doesn't this year.
Right.
I know some contractors kind of like to see some more development going on, but this would not help us in our economy today. At Daytona State College, we have a big IT department because we're pretty big. You know,
Right.
we've got 7 facilities. I mean, we're a pretty big institution. We have a help desk, VoIP. We have automatic backup. This is a great luxury.
Sure.
Is there something like this available for small and large businesses?
Well, yes. Through managed services, any size company can have various levels of all the things that you mentioned: backup, voice over IP, help desk services.
How would help desk work?
Sure, help desk work.
With you guys? I mean, I know how it works. That we're all connected.
Right.
We're all in the same place.
Right.
You know, so I just call them up, and how could it work with you guys? You're somewhere else.
We have a technology that allows us to remotely monitor and also take control of your computer through any internet connection. So essentially go to our website, you click a little button, you put your name and your email address, and within minutes we are on your PC and we see what you see, and we can take control and walk you through whatever issue you're having, whether your computer program is frozen, you have an unusual error message, you don't know how to do a mail merge, for instance, in Word and Excel. Those are all things that we can help you with remotely over the phone and through the remote monitoring software.
So that sounds pretty easy. I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm stuck. It's not
Exactly.
always me.
No.
It might be the computer.
Right.
And explaining it to you over the phone might be harder than trying to fix it myself.
Communication.
But you come in and you got it, huh?
Communication between the end user and the help desk technician is key, but sometimes he's talking apples, she's talking oranges, and you can't really communicate that. So the best way to solve a problem quickly without having to try to walk somebody through it is just to allow us to connect in remotely. Few clicks later, you're seeing the mouse move around. We're clicking on the application. We're looking at the error. We're trying we're doing things to make that error go away. And then if we're in the process of doing that, you're actually learning how to solve that problem in the future, so you don't have to call us back.